Henderson. This is Peggy MacArthur, and that is over there. That's Colleen Struve. And today I have a question for you. Are you feeling a little out of control in your business? Well, today we are going to help you maximize your business by helping you own it, your business. Let's get started. Well, like I said, the co-hosts are here and they are ready to have the conversation, but we're missing someone. It's you. You are the co-host that we're missing. So if you are watching this, please chime in and we will add your comments below, just like that sign down below says join the conversation. We will add your conversational pieces and your comments right here on the screen. So don't be shy. Jump into the conversation with us. Today, I would like to start the conversation off by asking my co-host a lovely question, which is, how has taking ownership of the decisions in your business helped you on your entrepreneurial journey? And since Colleen is solo dolo in her box, I kind of feel like I'm going to be in that box very soon here so that I can do this show from that side of the box. But how has taking ownership of the decisions in your business helped you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, I think when you own it, and we've had this conversation in our MinkLife and with sharing it with different people in the journey, is that, when you own the fact that you own your own business, right, that you can really affect what you do and how you serve other people. It's the chance to be able to work with the people you want to work with. You get a chance to work when you want to work. And then most importantly, do the things you want to do, right? And I know a lot of times I have struggled in the past about like letting go of pieces of what I think like, oh, I should do this, right? So, and with help from everyone else, it's like, oh no, you should let go of that piece that you don't like to do anyway. And maybe you're not as good at it with it, right? And give it to somebody who really likes to do it, and they can do it much faster than you can. So really, when you look at those decisions you're making in your business to move your business forward, it's those types of decisions that can really help.
Absolutely. Peggy, did you want to kind of chime in?
Oh, I do. First of all, let's say how awesome it is to be on the couch again instead of just in boxes. I can't wait to get in the box on the couch with Colleen instead of a box, but we'll get there one day. Anyway, I think to me, this question really means it gives you the freedom to know that you are in control, because when you take responsibilities, even for the times you messed up, it's not happening to you. It's just happening. It's your journey every step of the way. Like, yeah, I made a bad call and I learned this from that. And, and I feel like it actually gives you more control when you own the fact that, yeah, this is my business. This is what I did. And it was either great or it really sucked. Right. And I won't do that again. But it's not somebody else doing it to me or some, outside force. It's taking that responsibility.
Absolutely. So for me, if you don't know, this actually is the reason why we've been talking about this so much. It's one of the 6 key factors. One of the 6 basic rights of personal growth that we teach in the Principles program. And this concept of ownership was something that came to me really early on in my young entrepreneurial life. So I was a teenager, I was babysitting, and I was babysitting for my cousin, and she dropped her child off. I think he was about 3 or 4 at the time. And she gave me all the things and she gave me all the instructions on how to take care of him. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go, I think it was to work or something. And so a few minutes later, my mom walks in and my mom's like, hey, I need you to come and help me with this production that I'm going on. We're just going to go over to the church real quick and handle the business, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay, sure, right? But I'm babysitting. She's like, it's okay, it's fine. Just bring him with us, and he'll be able to go. And so, this is back in the 90s, so cell phones weren't really that much of a thing. And I politely, tried calling the office to catch my cousin, and she didn't answer. And I'm like torn because it's like, well, it's my mom, right? Like, my mom's asking me to go do something, but I'm responsible for her kid, and she's technically paying me to babysit. And so I, instead of saying no, said okay to my mom, and me and the kid packed up, got in the car, and went. And my cousin called the house while we were gone, and I wasn't there. And she freaked, like when she got back after work, she went off on me. I mean, just tore me a new one. She was so worried. She's like, I didn't know what happened to you guys. I wasn't sure what was going on and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, and I'm looking over at my mom, and my mom's like, I'm not babysitting. Like, not me. And that was like the moment in my journey that I was like, oh, right. So if I'm getting paid, I also have to take on the responsibility of what is happening here as well. But also what that told me was that, like, I own my experience. And if I give that away to other people, they don't reap the rewards or the punishment for giving away my life. That is something that is unique to me. And so this is kind of one of those reasons why this became a part of a thing. It's like, own your life. It belongs to you. Own your business. It belongs to you and no one else. Because again, I looked over at my mom and she was like, has to be you, right? And I'm like, and you're torn because it's your mom. Like, I'm supposed to do what I'm told, right? But that was an early lesson in owning my life. So that has really kind of helped me kind of stay the course with, like, taking ownership of my decisions.
Wow. It's like to be you.
For sure. All right. Well, today, as my story kind of told you, we are really kind of trying to get motivated today with our hot topic of own your business. And like we said earlier, sometimes we feel a little bit out of control. But the question is, why is it important to understand how to take ownership in your business? And we'll start with Peggy this time. So, like, why is it important to understand how to take ownership in your business?
So I grew up really, I was the youngest. And so my parents were kind of busy. Like I was, and I'm a Generation X, I'm a latchkey kid. So I wasn't always like given a lot of supervision. I started working really young, and I kind of, like you, realized early on that my decisions had consequences, and sometimes those consequences were severe. But at the same time, I grew up in a very small town in the Midwest where women were expected to be wives, mothers, and secretaries. And yes, we used to call them secretaries. That was kind of it. Like, you could be a dental hygienist, like maybe a nurse. But other than that, like, if you were a woman, you don't need to, why would you want to go to college? Why would you want to do anything? Like, that wasn't what was expected of, me or, people in that little bubble that I lived in. And so when I was like, no, I'm going to be a photographer, I'm going to do my own business, it was like, well, yeah, but aren't you going to get married? Like, aren't you going to have, like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. So, and it took me a long time to realize the power of taking responsibility, good and bad, and actually not being a business owner, but owning my business. And I think that's the difference. Mm-hmm. Like, you can be a business owner and not own your business. And I think that's kind of what today's topic is about, is really the difference in, you actually owning it, you having that responsibility, mm-hmm. and control and choice.
Yep, for sure. Colleen, did you want to answer why is it important to understand how to take ownership in your business?
Yeah, I think I know I've struggled with this in the past in the sense of like networking for 20 years and curating lots of tools and things in my business and understanding, okay, well, are you a setup card rep, are you a bank coach, are you a this or that or whatever, and really looking at understanding is like, how do you create that overarching business? And that's that umbrella, so that's why I created the Connect, Develop, Succeed, is because it's like, yeah, more than just one of these things. These are just tools that we use in the business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, understanding that and then coming to the conclusion is like, okay, no, this is my business, right? And there's lots of people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being just one of those things, and people have businesses with that. But I always knew I wanted to kind of pull it all together, like these are just pieces of the puzzle. So, and figuring out that, this is your business, right? And we're all still learning. I know I still, every day I come to the MinkLife and it's like, okay, let's figure out this piece of the puzzle. Like, okay, like we kind of got this piece straight. Now let's work on this next piece. So I think, understanding that you, like Peggy was saying, you got to make, own those decisions, good and bad, and look at them and go, okay, well, what can I learn from this piece, right? And look at someone, like I always look at, like I tend to get a lot of people's opinions and then look at and curate them all together and say, okay, well, this is what I want to do. But I know sometimes I like rely too much on someone's opinion. Like I forget, it's not even kind of business, but it like goes to the point. It's like we were at the beach and we were on the beach and we have Rita's ice cream here, right? And I checked, we're walking and they had banana split, right? Which we don't, in Maryland, they don't always have, right? And I'm like, oh, I should get it. And they're like, oh no, we'll get ice cream someplace else. I'm like, okay. So I let them talk me out of getting it. And then on the way home, they're like, well, no, we don't really feel like ice cream. And I'm like, oh. It's like, so it's like every day having to stretch that muscle, right? That muscle of making your own decision, figuring out and being okay with it. And
Yes.
I know there's a lot of people like I tend to look for outside validation, right? So, and I think as being a business owner, you have to work on like, how can I validate myself? Like I make the decisions, are they right decisions, and go. I mean, get all the information, but you as the owner of the business still have to be the one that makes that decision and live with it either way.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, it's super important to really understand that like if you don't take ownership, you are living and breathing someone else's life and business, right? Like if you don't take ownership of your business, you don't get to make the decisions on how you get to live your life because now your business is running you, right? If you don't take ownership of your business, then you don't get to make the choices on how you want to communicate about your business because the business is running you. So you're just kind of saying whatever you need to say and doing whatever you need to do to make ends meet and to make it to the next thing and to make it to this other thing. But when you take the time to actually understand kind of like, I own this business, this can be what I need it to be, then you can kind of rework everything. And best story is when I came back from Scotland this recently, and everyone's like, oh, you should be so jet lagged and this, that, or the other. And I was like, no, no, I'm not jet lagged.
I refuse.
And the reason why I'm not jet lagged, and don't put that on me, is because I own my business, right? And since I own my business, I set my dang schedule. It's my schedule to set, right? And the customers I meet with are on my terms. And the company I keep are on my terms. And I didn't become an entrepreneur to be burnt out or to be worried about, a boss or people telling me what to do. I became an entrepreneur so that I can make the choices for myself, right? So no, I don't have to come back and be jet lagged. I can come back and take a day and give us some breath and some width and allow myself to ease back into work. And I can block my calendar off and say, I'm not accepting any appointments until next Tuesday so that I have all of this weekend to kind of reacclimate and get myself together. And by having that kind of ownership of my business, it really did allow for me to give myself some space, for me to come back and reset my schedule and organize myself so that when it was time to kind of snap back into life, everybody, and I mean everybody and everything in my life was like on that schedule that I needed to be successful with, as opposed to me being like, oh, I gotta hurry up and get back to the business and do and the business owning me instead of me actually owning the business. So let's stay inspired. And by the way, we're using these hashtags. So if you want to add these hashtags to your comments to let us know what part you're resonating with, especially if you're watching the replays, just drop that hashtag in there as well. But how does a lack of understanding of your business affect the way you move through life and business, really? So we'll go back to you, Colleen, and let you kind of kick off that part of the conversation.
I'm gonna pick it up where you left off, in the sense of, you know, if you don't run your business like you did, like, and I've been guilty of that. Probably most people out here have been guilty of letting the business run you, right? It's like, oh no, I have to be at this time and I have to do this, right? And look at it is that understanding that that's affecting the way you live, right? So it's and looking at, you know, what's more important to you, right? And figure it out. Is like, we're very family oriented, you know, so when my kid's home, it's like, okay, that takes precedent, right? Or if it's a rainy day and Wayne takes off because he's in construction and I feel like, okay, I don't have appointments that I have to be at, then I can choose. You know, that's the beauty of owning your own business, is you have the choice to do, you know, and do that and realize that, oh, well, I can choose to work, you know, late at night or early in the morning because I own the business, right? And I think that was one of the hardest things for me that still comes up, right? Is that that corporate mentality. You know, Marilyn and I talk about this all the time. It's like, I get so, oh my God, it's, you know, 2:00 in the afternoon, I should be, you know, you get this should be working, you know, where I've already been working since 6, or, you know, I've been up doing stuff, or I have a late call that's at, you know, 8:00 at night. If I would take 2:00 and that's when I choose to either have my lunch or watch TV, you know, Monica and I talk, you know, it's like, that's my choice, right? And I shouldn't feel guilty about it, right? It's my business. I created it the way I wanted to work. And it doesn't matter what, like, quote, the norm is, right? It's like your business, you create it the way you want to do it. So, and once you understand that, then it will change the way it affects your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, Peggy. I know you're itching to say something.
First of all, I'm going way back to the ice cream thing. I've been sitting here quiet for a long time because a lot of times what happens is when we don't take responsibility for our choices and actually own it, then we feel like we're missing out on things. Mm-hmm. And like anybody that knows me personally knows that I have a crazy strict eating routine and regimen. I'm very, very picky about what I put in my body because I have some health issues and I want to make sure that my body gets what it needs. Now, that said, if I decide that I want something outside of what I normally do, I've already weighed out all the consequences. I'm like, okay, so I'm probably not going to feel good for a day. Like I've already gone through, like, what's my schedule look like for the next 3 days? Like, I've already made that decision, right? So if I'm like, you know, this probably isn't the best, like I'm going to have repercussions, but I want this slice of pizza or whatever it may be, that I don't.
Pizza, wow, that would be way way different than how you eat, but okay.
You know, whatever that is, then maybe somebody says, oh, I don't think you should eat that. It's like, the heck? You telling me, like, you telling me how to run my body? And that's the same way we should be with what? You telling me how to run my business?
Yeah.
Like, I already know the concept. Like, I've already figured that out. But the positive my day with my kids, or my day with my husband, or my day to mental health or recovery, whatever that is, that's okay, because I am going to make that choice instead of having someone else make that choice. And if it goes bad and you're like, oh shoot, I thought I was going to get sick for a day and I'm down for 3 days, then you got to take ownership. You got to take ownership from that. I ate ice cream like a year ago, and it was like, oh, I'll be bad for it. It was not good. But I took ownership for it. I was like, all right, so now I know if ever I decide to eat ice cream again, I need to plan a good 4 or 5 days.
Right.
There you go.
But yeah, with your business, it's the same.
Yep.
It's mine. Take ownership.
Oh yeah. No. So recently we had a pricing structure change. And the reason why for the pricing structure change is because it actually just made more sense for our activities, right? Unfortunately, because of the pricing structure change, the immediate of like revenue was going to come to a screeching halt while we do this pricing structure change. Now, the decision was the best decision to make for the business in its totality, but it does make it quite interesting when you have people who expect money from you when you're like, it's coming, right? And so one of the things that was really necessary is I just had to kind of tell everybody, like, hey, we're in a shift, and this will make it easier for me to pay you on time and more money even, and make up the difference for this lull in being able to pay you this way. But it's going to be a little rough for us. And regardless of what their answer is on the other side, comfortable or not comfortable, right? Like, go kick rocks, or, oh, no, cool, it's no problem. I had to be able to own that decision of the business, because I needed to do what was right for the business, right? And I needed to do what was right. Now, had one of those people gave me the advice about like, oh no, you should definitely not do that because I need to get paid. Well, in the long run, the growing pains and the angst and the issues behind the previous pricing structure would then be running me, because then I'd be chasing people for money, and I'd be like, oh, you owe me money. Can you please, and that is not how I want to spend my time. I want to spend my time helping people activate their zone of genius. I want to spend my time creating amazing learning and unlearned experiences, and allowing the people in my community to collaborate and share and grow and all those things. And so I had to make a decision that was a very hard decision to make, but ultimately it was the best. It's the best for the long-term trajectory of my business. And therefore it required me to make that hard decision for the sake of the business. And I'm saying all that to say, there are probably a lot of you who are having to make some hard decisions about your business right now, right? Like right in this second, you're like, oh, but it's going to be so uncomfortable for like the next quarter if I do this decision. But ultimately, it's your job to think about the long-term trajectory of your business and what's going to be the best for it in the long haul. And if in the long haul, it's actually going to help you be better, then be uncomfortable with the decision now, but own that decision and say, you know what, this is a decision I made. I'm going to stand here, and no matter how many expletives you shoot at me because you don't like this decision, it's the decision I came to. And I just have to own that you don't like me right now, or I just have to own that you're not very happy with me right now, or own the interest that you might charge me extra for not being able to pay this on time. But in the long haul, it's better for my business. And I think a lot of us probably need to kind of start saying that to ourselves. Like, I'm okay to be uncomfortable now for the long-term comfort of being able to make the money that I need in my business. Because without any money, you lose the ability to serve. So make those decisions, stay inspired in that way. Okay, so here's what it is. It's time to ask the good question. Who should you ask when you're trying to improve your own accountability in your business, right? So who should you ask for help when you are trying to improve in your accountability? I guess, Colleen, it's your turn to go first.
My turn. That's a good question. I think when you look at, I mean, obviously we at MinkLife, we have a lot of people who are pseudo coworkers, right? You know, I like the best of best of coworkers, right? I say it's, you know, the joy of co-working without the drama, you know.
Exactly.
In the incubator, you know. But I think you also look at those people that you see that are rocking it. You know, it's, you know, people who are, you know, in business that you admire, and you're looking at the, you know, most people are going to be very accepting of if you say to you know, you're rocking it. I would love, can I get 15 minutes of your time just to kind of pick your brain? I mean, most of the business owners that I know, entrepreneurs, love that, you know, because most of them are very heart-centered. They want to help people, you know, because when we lift everybody up, you know, everyone's going to get better, right? And I think that's, you need to look for those people that are rocking it, and then also look at those ones that you're like, yeah, they're totally stressed out, they're not doing it. Don't do what you do.
Well, yeah, I believe in both of those. Yeah, Peggy.
You know, I always say that, you know, I learned how to parent from my mom. Everything she did, I made sure I did not do. And that's sometimes what you got to do is like, you see business owners that are stressed out and broke and grumpy. It's like, well, that's probably not how I want to do it. So that's a very valid point. So I think, you know, really, I always say surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And I know that that's what I've done, you know, in the incubator, you know, hey, Colleen, I've got this problem. And, you know, hey, Monica, please, 10 minutes, just, you know, and a lot of times I think really it's just the asking, because a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, they just don't ask. I think that's literally it. Just ask, because most of the time when I feel like this is hopeless, I've bitten off more than I can chew, I don't know what I'm doing, what was I thinking, and all that self-doubt hitting me, Monica can change that around in 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, like I just needed to like that much of an adjustment. Oh,
yeah. It's just a different perspective, right?
Can I give you real truth of how these conversations go? Oh my gosh, I totally suck, and I did all this work, and I hate everything I did, and I just don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And then I go and read it, and I was like, oh, you just need a comma right there, and then the whole
pretty
thing
much.
works.
That's literally pretty much it. Like the other day, I did this like 4 hours worth of stuff, and I was like, I just wasted 4 hours. Like, I'm going to throw this all away. And Monica was like, let me look at it, and she was like, oh, you just have it over here. It needs to be over here, and do this. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, right. And aren't you always harder on yourself than whatever, you know?
It's we don't want to ask and see that other perspective. Like you were saying, Colleen, it's that other you can't see the trees from the forest because you're so, and I think entrepreneurs, they're in it all. Like they've got, hey, you owe me money. Hey, where's my product? Hey, can I do this service for you? Hey, can you, you know, and you got all these things coming at me, and you have to do your own accounting, and you know, and instead of, I think you said it earlier, Colleen, or maybe it was one of you said, just don't do those things. Like, you know, handed by, I thought it was.
I said it because I was talking to myself.
Yeah, like hey,
I'm like the queen of control, so it's like, you know, I'm like, all right, I'm starting to slowly get to the point where it's like, maybe I should like give this to somebody who can really do it better,
likes it,
you know, and who likes it. I mean, it's just, I know my knowledge person is like, oh, I need to know how to do everything, and I want to do everything, and it's, you know, but when you're, like you said, when you're in business for yourself, sometimes you feel by yourself, right? And, you know, people need to look at it as like, oh, I don't need to do it all, right? I just need to make sure I understand it so that you don't get taken advantage, but you understand it, and that you're like, okay, well, I can have this person do this piece so that I can come over here and do my genius, right? Yep. It's like, you know, and that's, I think, it takes a while for people to like, it takes me a while, some people get it faster than others, but to be able to know that, like, yes, you can, still do it. And they, like I said, they come from a different perspective. Like, when you're looking at it, you only see it from your experiences and what you've experienced. But if I ask, Monica or Peggy or something, it's like, well, how do you read this? Or how is this coming across to you? It might come out totally different, right? A word that I use all the time might be something that you look at and is totally different, that like, oh no, I would never use that word, right? And be able to get other people's perspectives is, I think, the great thing about being able to work in a community of people. So
yeah, so I'm gonna say you need to ask a nag, a person who's gonna have that question every single time they see you. So what are you gonna do about this? So what are you going to do? Like, what did you do more about this? And there are a few nags in our community. Lovingly, I say they're nags in that if I've ever said to them, "Hey, I'm really trying to do this every single time that I talk to them," they're going to be like, "So,
fine, I'll do it."
What did you do about this? I'm talking about Irina because
I was about to say that.
I told her one time that I was trying to be more active, and she's like, stalking me on Sweatcoin. Okay.
I get those Sweatcoin texts too. I see you haven't been walking much today, Peggy. I'm like,
right. And also having a really good coach for the specific thing that you're trying to do. Now, coaching is a hard one to say, right? Because most people are like, oh, hire a coach. And I don't mean any coach, because there are a lot of coaches who do a lot of things, and they have a very particular focus that they're good at. And then there's like a bunch of stuff that they're also good at, but that's not their thing, but they know something in it. And what I'm saying is you should have a coach. There are 24 elements in your life, business, branding, and networking. And so you should have at least 24 coaches. Now, you don't have to pay all 24 coaches. Those coaches can sometimes be people in your life that you're kind of working with. But being able to have the conversation with the person who is really good at that one thing, and they're going to remind you every time, did you do this? 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 Did you follow up? Did you follow up? She was on vacation and asked me if I did my follow-up. Okay, I'm just saying, somebody, your hair looks so different. All these pictures are super old. Or like, when are we doing this photo session that you said you were going to do? That happens every time I have her look at anything with my picture on it. Okay. What I'm saying is the people that you should reach out to, or the people that you should have in your life to actually help you with this, are the people who are going to nag you about that one thing every time you talk to them. Because I don't know about you, but I hate when people tell me, like, you said you were going to, but you didn't. Ugh, the most annoying thing. And I will do the work just so I don't have to hear the thing come out of their mouth. Right. And if that works for you, it works for me too. So just surround yourself with those kinds of people. All right. So we three can talk for hours, and we do sometimes. But you are not here for hours. So we are going to gain knowledge. It is time for our final thoughts. Keep it tight. Keep it right. What is your final thought for maximizing your business, especially in this space of ownership? And I'm going to give it to Peggy. TikTok, I'm watching.
Calendarly. That's it.
What? You can't just throw that out with
you said keep it tight. I never used to own my schedule. I was always catering to everyone else. I'm flexible. What works for you? What works for you? Oh, you need to reschedule. No problem. Oh, does that work better for you? No. I own my schedule. And what I found was when I quit catering to everyone else, my calendar got more full, and nobody ever complained because they didn't schedule with me, him-hawing for 30 minutes. How about this day? What about this day? What about this day? Oh, what about this time? They went to my calendar, they booked an appointment, they got a reminder, they showed up. Done. Seriously, own your business.
There you go. I love it. That is the most succinct I have ever heard Peggy say. I will take it. Okay. Colleen, what is your final thought for maximizing your business, especially around the space of ownership?
I think we already talked about it, but own the people you're around, right? Because you're going to be as good or, as the people that you surround yourself with, and they can up level you.
You know what? Y'all are rocking with the succinctness. You know how I feel about like efficiency.
You told us.
I feel so good about efficiency. Okay, so the last piece, or the last, I guess, tip that I have for you as around this ownership of your business is know the plan. And I'm going to give you a quote from Mr. Kerry Henderson himself. He says, "Make a plan when you are unemotional and sober, and then stick to the dang plan." Now, I don't quote much from him, but actually, the stuff that I say are things that he say over and over again. I married an ag. That is literally why I'm so efficient, because I have my husband to kind of keep me stick to the dang plan, right? But if you stick to the plan, once you have created that plan and you stick to it, the success rate is substantially higher than if you quit somewhere along the way or make a pivot or an edit. So follow me and my fellow Taurus and stick to the dang plan.
So say that again. Were you sober?
You are sober and unemotional.
Sober and unemotional. You made the plan when you were sober and unemotional. So stick to the plan.
So stick to the plan, right?
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so it's time for announcements. I know you guys love that song so much, so I bring it every single time I'm on. All right, and the first announcement that we're going to go to is our very important announcement for this week. It is the conferences. Yes, we have a very special theme this time, so you definitely don't want to miss this conference. But these conferences are like you have never experienced before. We have 24 panel discussions that I promise you are worth their weight in gold, because so many tips come flying out of those mouths during those panel discussions. It is absolutely, positively ridiculous. We have 6 reflective workshops. This is not a talking head conference. So you're not going to come and just sit around and listen to people for 7 hours. No, you are going to be active, engaged in working your butt off in your business. We also have 24 breakout sessions. So if there's any place that you are stuck, guess what? One of those 24s are going to be a place for you to move yourself and start owning your business. Hi, you like what I did there? Mm-hmm. All right. And we also have a global networking community. So you're going to have speakers from all over the world coming to share their expertise. And all of this happens in just 2 days. You are not going to want to miss this experience. Tickets are on sale right now at nextglobalvirtualconference.com. So go ahead and go there for that. Also, if you are not a part of this amazing community that we have, well, I'm here to tell you something. And that is that our private community has its own app. That's right. No birth announcements, no stupid political commentary. It's just us supporting each other and working on our businesses. And I'm doing all of this out of order, but that's okay, because I need y'all to know that this is happening. And why you want to be a part of this is because you have experts in the community who are sharing videos in our knowledge library. You can direct message them and have a conversation with them. You can ask them for help, and you can share your own expertise. And those people are right here around me every single day and around you when you see this show. And that's right. I'm going to have them share some of the announcements that they are contributing in our community as well. So Colleen, please share your announcement.
Yes. So catch us on the conference this weekend. Like you said, I think this is, I don't know, we try to count like my 13th conference or something.
Like I don't know. 15th total or something like that.
Yeah, and I came on a little bit, but it's amazing. The group, as I was saying, surround yourself with the people that are going to help you elevate your business. This is the way to do it. I help people fall in love with follow-up, as Monica mentioned on the follow-up side. Love for you to come try it. You got to do your follow-up anyway. Why not come do it with us? Have fun while you do it and get those appointments booked on your calendar. Certainly jump in, as Peggy was saying, Calendly. So jump on my Calendly, either book sometime just to chat with me, or like I said, come try the Fall in Love with follow-up and get those appointments on your calendar.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if you don't have your Calendly all worked out yet, be prepared for it to be broken several times. All right. And Peggy, why don't you share what's happening in your world?
Well, I will be on the conference again this weekend. I have been on every single conference.
Yes.
I have not missed one conference. I have spoken at least one panel or at least one, yes, every single conference, even the ones in the middle of the night. This is the LA conference, so I'm very happy about that because it happens during my awake hours. And if you haven't gotten your tickets, go. First of all, it's got a whole new look, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
So
it's so much fun.
But it's always so amazing. Always like right before the conference, I'm like, ugh, this is so much work. And then like the second it starts, it's like, oh my God. I always get way more than I give every single conference. It's just mind blowing. The amount of energy, the positivity, the oh my God. And we always meet at least one new friend that like becomes like part of the like core group from then on. Like we always snag at least one or two out of there. Like you stay. But if you, we touch on every single area of your life, from business to networking to sex. Literally the whole thing is there. Like we're talking about it all. So don't miss it. Get your tickets today. And, you know, I am a headshot strategist. So if you're ready to up your game and get some serious headshots that are the biggest part of your marketing strategy, that helps be that thread that weaves everything that you are in all of your marketing, weaves that together, book a free consultation with me and we can maybe get you hooked up with that.
Oh yeah, you know, and that's one of the perks of being a speaker on our conference is because you do get a session with Peggy, who will help you look fabulous like I do all the time on the show. But she'll help you with the lighting and all of those things. So this is what I mean by hanging in a community where you really get supported by people. And that's exactly what happens here. Don't forget that every single day we have the Minkubator, which is a way for you to, a smarter way to get better results. And we have something coming down the pike really soon here that is going to rock your socks off. But if you are curious about why we hang out together for co-working on Zoom, you definitely want to come try it out. You can do it for free because we offer a 14-day free trial to come and hang out with us to see kind of what
it's literally worth it just to hang out with us.
I mean, you're welcome. Like Peggy,
you're welcome.
Peggy taught us last week. You're welcome. So you can come and hang out with us and really kind of just talk through. We call them pop-up masterminds or barn raising sometimes, where we'll come on and we'll like everybody will just be in support of one person to get something out of the way.
I think we got a whole website and marketing plan in less than 3 hours for someone one time. Like built the website, got the marketing out, like did the whole thing in less than 3 hours.
Yeah,
so
somebody had
stuff like that.
Someone had less than an hour to get a bio out. And we all popped in and helped. Do you remember that?
It made me feel so smart. Like I read that bio, I was like, oh, I like it.
I'd hire that person.
Cool.
Yeah, so you know, I have an hour, help, right? And we all came
and I think it was more like 20 minutes, but
I was being generous. But yeah, so all of those kinds of things happen in the Minkubator, and so you definitely want to come and hang out with us this weekend or next week. Doesn't matter. Just come and try it out yourself. I can't wait because the next show actually is not Peggy's show because she's going to be on vacation, but there will be somebody who will be subbing for Miss Peggy. But that is the conversation about build your brand. And so if you want to be there, I think it's Yo who says she's actually going to sit in your space.
And that's going to be so fun.
So much fun.
You're going to have fun.
So
you won't even miss me.
You want to come and hang out with us on Wednesday at 9 Pacific Standard Time and really kind of find out what's going to happen on the pike. This is live, baby. We don't know. We don't know any more than you do. So come and hang out with us and we'll see you next week. It was so fun.
This was so fun.
I haven't been on the couch with her in a while. And I love always having a conversation with Colleen. So thank you so much, Colleen, for popping in last minute. And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great one.